Hi, I'm Yvette Payne, and today we're going to be talking about the proper way to be a church usher. In our churches, there are a number of auxiliaries and organizations, but there are only 4 prominent organizations within the church. Those are preaching, teaching, the music ministry, and ushering. In the Old Testament, ushers were called doorkeepers, and we played a very prominent role in keeping order in the church, in collecting money, and in the New Testament, ushers were used to introduce Jesus to the people. Now, the information that we're going to share today is not all-inclusive, but it will be a beginning for your church and your ushers. We realize that all churches are built differently, so the layout of your church may not be conducive to what you see today, but again, it will be a great starting point. We also realize that the protocol and the order of service may be different in your church. But again, we're going to use this information today as a good starting point for you and your ushers. We hope that you enjoy this presentation of information, and we'll talk with you at the end of the presentation about how you would be able to get more in-depth information on how to be the very best church usher. It's important for ushers to be in uniform. As you can see from the uniforms displayed, that an usher needs to be impeccably groomed and that the outfit be conducive to proper etiquette. We have here one of our female ushers. If you will notice, her skirt does go below the knee. Our male usher, standing tall, very proud doorkeeper, and he too is impeccably dressed. Most churches have their own color scheme. A universal usher is one who will be in black with a white top. The male will wear a white shirt. If, however, you are ushering at a state level or a national level, the uniform for the female is a white uniform, preferably a nurse's dress. She is dressed in white from head to toe. She will have her badge, her pin, white stockings, and white shoes. It's important that as an usher, you arrive to the church 15 to 20 minutes before service starts. One of the first things that the ushers should do after greeting each other is to huddle in prayer. We huddle very much like an athletic or sports team does before the beginning of the game to get ourselves prepped up for the worship service. After the huddle, it is important that the head usher or the chief usher give instruction as to where each usher will be placed. Preferably, if you have enough men, you will want the men to stand at the door. After the head usher has told everyone where they're going to be positioned for that particular Sunday, then the ushers in unison will take their place. One thing that's important is that you let ushers serve in different areas of the church. We know that some individuals love their certain spot and position, but we want to make sure that everyone is trained in all positions of the church. Now, in this particular clip, what you'll see is that there are 12 ushers who have taken the floor. But each one of those ushers has and is able to work any other position in the worship service. Assisting worshipers is a vital and important role that an usher plays. Very often, the usher is the first person that an individual will see. We don't know if they've had a wonderful week or a bad week, but it's so important that an usher's disposition be sweet and helpful. As we assist the worshipers, for example, if a worshiper needs a fan, as you saw in the clip, an usher brought a fan to that worshiper. There actually was a signal given from the floor. It's important that ushers who are positioned on the floor stand sideways so that they may see what is happening in front of the church as well as behind the church. Now, when there is scripture being read or there is a prayer, there will be a signal from the head usher for all ushers to turn toward the front. The ushers at that point are to turn toward the front in unison. During the scripture, prayer, and pastoral comments, it's important that the usher not allow individuals to enter into the sanctuary. A proper sign for them is to put up a finger and let the worshiper know that they are not permitted to enter the sanctuary, but that they will be able to enter as soon as scripture, prayer, and pastoral comments are finished. During prayer, ushers then are to be in unison with one another. In some congregations, it is proper that the ushers put their hands across their chests. In other congregations, all ushers will put their hands down to their sides. In most churches, prior to the spoken word and the preaching, the pastor will give scripture and also his text for the message that day. After the pastor has given his text, it is now time for the ushers to retreat from the floor. They are to pay attention to the chief usher in charge, who will give a signal that the ushers are to retreat. The ushers are to retreat from the floor in unison. If you have ushers stationed in the pulpit area, the ushers on the floor are to wait for them until they come down, and then together walk to the back of the church. As you have seen throughout, it is so important that ushers be in unison with everything that they do. One of the last things that an usher should be mindful of is the taking up of the collection. It is at this time that the ushers typically begin at the back of the church. Worshipers are dismissed pew by pew. There should be an usher stationed at each aisle, and depending upon how many ushers you have, if you have more ushers than there are aisles, then you will want to have ushers go down behind one another so that you can utilize all of your ushers. One of the most important things, though, to remember is this. Once all ushers are down front, they need to wait for each other until they retreat to the back. Retreat to the back together. I pray that you were able to glean some information from this video that will help you to become a better usher. Stay tuned for our next video, which will highlight more in-depth information. One of the main reasons for ushering within the church is to maintain order and to serve the people. You noticed the ushers serving people. In one instance, you saw an usher taking a fan to one of the worshipers. Before that fan was given, there was a sign that was given to the usher in charge, indicating that a worshiper needed something. Again, as we move forward, I'm going to share more specific information as to what those signs and symbols are. Also, there is a ritual for a deceased usher that is so very important that we conduct. So again, stay tuned for our second video where we'll be sharing signs, signals, and rituals. For more information, you may contact me at star@evansville.net, STAR@evansville.net, or you may call me at 812-431-2723. I look forward to seeing you again soon.